How was it? Stories about famous people who changed the world. He could no longer hear the world, but the world has never stopped listening to him. This is the story of Ludwig van Beethoven, 1770 to 1827, a man who turned pain into music and silence into eternal sound. Beethoven was born in Bonn, Germany in 1770. His father was a court musician who dreamed of turning his son into the next Mozart. Little Ludwig's childhood was harsh. He was forced to practice for hours, often punished when he made mistakes. But from an early age, his talent was undeniable. At just 7 years old, Beethoven gave his first public performance. By his teens, he was composing and playing piano like no one else. His music was powerful, emotional, and full of fire, a reflection of his own spirit. In his early 20s, Beethoven moved to Vienna, the capital of European music. There, he studied under Joseph Haydn, performed for nobles, and quickly became one of the most admired pianists in the city. But just as his fame began to rise, tragedy struck. Around the age of 28, Beethoven began to notice something terrifying. He was losing his hearing. At first, it was a ringing in the ears. Then, the voices of people became muffled. And soon, even the sound of his beloved piano began to fade away. For a musician, this was a death sentence. He wrote in a letter known as the Heiligenstadt Testament, "I would have ended my life. It was only my art that held me back." But Beethoven didn't give up. Instead, he fought back the only way he knew how, through music. During the years when his hearing was failing, he composed some of his greatest masterpieces. His Symphony No. 3, Eroica, broke all musical traditions, bold, revolutionary, heroic. Then came the Fifth Symphony, with its unforgettable 4 notes, da, 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 dum, a symbol of fate knocking at the door. By the time he wrote his Ninth Symphony, Beethoven was completely deaf. He could not hear the orchestra, nor the singers performing his immortal Ode to Joy. At the premiere, he stood facing the musicians, unaware that the audience was giving him a standing ovation. A singer gently turned him around so he could see the thunderous applause. The crowd wept, not only for the music, but for the man who created it, without ever hearing it. Beethoven's music was more than beauty. It was rebellion. He lived in a time of revolution, and his art carried the same spirit. He believed that music could express freedom, equality, and the triumph of the human soul. Even in isolation, he never stopped composing. He wrote string quartets that pushed the boundaries of sound, and piano sonatas that captured every emotion, from rage to tenderness, from despair to hope. When Beethoven died in 1827, over 20,000 people attended his funeral in Vienna. He was poor, alone, and almost completely misunderstood. But history would prove him right. Today, Beethoven is remembered not only as one of the greatest composers of all time, but as a symbol of perseverance, creativity, and the power of the human spirit. He taught us that even in silence, you can still make the world hear your voice. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe.